What's up, guys? Cup of Commerce here. I'm Stevie. We have Riley, as you guys know. And then we have a guest today, Chewie. We're all going to be talking about the 10X rule by Grant Cardone, and we're going to be rating it with six different things. The quality of information, the ease of read, is it applicable, which makes you take action, or is it philosophical, which makes you think differently? And then do an overall 100-point scale of just our take on the book. But lastly, we're going to summarize why you should read this book instead of just reading a overall summary about the key concepts of the book. Because I think that's something important that a lot of people are missing nowadays is getting the full context of the book rather than just the short snippets. So yeah, without further ado, why don't we start off with Chewie? So for quality of information, Chewie, what would you rate this book?
I would rate it an 80 out of 100.
All right. Why is that?
I just feel like a lot of the information in this book can be found in other books. There's nothing really unique that sets it apart from other books.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the information is there that you can take action on. So
yeah, and you think that it's quality, like how so?
Quality is in more of just the overall mindset thinking of like whatever you want to do in life, you just gotta think bigger.
Yeah, like he speaks accurately. Yeah. I rated it contradictorily a 70 because I agree with Chewie that it does have a lot of quality of information, but I think that a lot of the stuff he talks a lot in metaphors and hyperboles, and in my opinion it's not the most like quality as it is entertaining to read. However, with that being said, you can apply all of that and make it actualize because it's super, super inspiring to read this book. And I think that inspiration alone deserves like a high quality ranking. But in regards to like concrete facts, he does bring up some statistics like the housing crisis statistics. So it did have some quality information as well as like median household income, stuff like that. So he did bring a lot of facts to the table. It's not like he's just spouting bullshit out of his ass for 200 pages and calling it a PDF book. But what about you, Riley?
I rated it a 75. I kind of agree with you in the fact that a lot of the information I feel like could be found elsewhere. But then on the other hand, Steve, you had a good point that I feel like this book could have been like probably half as long if he didn't use so many metaphors. It seemed like every single page was he would say a sentence and then write a paragraph of like a metaphor or like trying to apply it into life. But with that being said, I feel like the quality of information, like I said, my score is 75. So I think that it was kind of he kind of tells you a lot of information, but doesn't give you a good way on how to like apply it or how to do it. I guess he just gives you, like examples in his life, I guess.
He does tell you how it is, but he doesn't tell you how to get there all the time,
Yeah.
But
exactly.
with that being said, that's kind of the premise of the 10X rule book. You got to have some self-discipline in a sense. But I totally see where you're coming from. That makes us an aggregate of a 75 score that we're rating it for quality of information. Moving forward, ease of read. Riley, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I rated it a 95 for ease of read. Stevie said last book review that he reads at a third grade level. So do I.
Yeah. And Grant writes like a fucking second grader, so
exactly.
It's pretty easy to fucking read his shit. Yeah.
So it all coincides and it's perfect. I didn't find trouble. Like sometimes I'll read a book and not know what a word means or, whatever the case, not understand a concept, but I can't say I had any of that in this book. It was all easy to read and kind of just go through. Pretty easy read.
Yeah. Chewie, what about you?
What was the question again?
You motherfucker. The ease of read, like how easy was it of a read for you?
Oh yeah, reading it was pretty easy, pretty straightforward, pretty simple to read. So
nothing. Yeah. What'd you rate it?
I rated it like a 93, I believe. He didn't use any complicated words. So
motherfucker, I see your chart. You rated a 97.
Oh, well, I knew it was something high. But yeah, he basically, made it so anyone, even if someone didn't have like comprehensive, like extensive comprehensive skill level, that they
Uh-huh.
could pick up the book and still apply the knowledge in it. So
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I rated it a 97. I thought he writes as if he's giving a speech, which is so easy for someone like me to read, who reads shit as if I'm talking. So I was able to read it at a decent pace. So yeah, I think that we all kind of agreed on that. We gave it an aggregate of a 96 for ease of read. So even easier than our previous one, How to Win Friends and Influence People. So for applicable, we're going to move on to the next rating. So applicable, it's be something like it makes you take action. This is something that you can immediately apply to your life, information you can immediately apply to your life that you learned from the book. So Chewie, what would you rate this for applicable information?
I think I put my rating wrong. I would rate it just a 90. Keep it simple.
Fucking, oh, okay. You want to change it to a 90?
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah. The reason why I say that is because of the fact that it doesn't. I don't want to say it. It doesn't take a lot of work, to 10x the goals that you have, and to really, push the goals that you have to the limit. Because if you think about it, the only limitations we have as human beings are the ones we set on ourselves. Uh,
Yeah.
so if you really think about, well, I can do anything, no limit, um, it makes you really wonder how far you could really uh, push the goals, because like everything we have around us has all, like, for the most part, has all came from the human mind. Like, it was once thought of to be impossible, like
This motherfucker spitting.
computers, phones, airplanes. Like, these are things that people have said were impossible, and they went out and did it anyways. Like, think of Jeff Bezos, the richest man in the world,
Yo.
right? Net worth of almost 200 billion. 20 years ago, they said creating an online store was stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
and people want to hate on that success because they themselves know that they cannot achieve it. They have that fear mindset that Grant talks about, how, if you're afraid of doing something, that's just a signal that you should immediately attack that thing you're afraid of and do it,
Mhm.
He really promotes urgency, which I think is a healthy mindset, as long as, it's not impatiency, which is not a good quality in a person.
Mm-hmm.
However, I agree with Chewy. I rated this an 85 for applicable. I thought that it was, I'll get into philosophical later, but I thought it was a little bit more philosophical than applicable for this book. He used a lot of references for context, but it wasn't necessarily anything you could take direct action. It was just really inspirational. Like, I would read this book in the mornings, and it would make me, like, I would literally write out my goals. Like when he mentioned
Yeah.
how he would write out his goals in the book every day, I started to do that, and I noticed I was not fucking working towards my goals. Like, the shit that I talk about, I wasn't doing. And then when I started reading this book and I started applying the lessons that he learned, I started achieving more and more of my goals, at least working towards them more. So that's why I gave it an 85. Solid grade. What about you, Riley?
Yeah. I rated an 85. I kind of agree with Chewy in the fact that we kind of, as human beings, he was talking about, we set our own limitations. In the book, he
100%.
talks about a lot of people will set goals and then realize, if it's a goal for the end of the year, they'll realize in month 8 or month 6 or whatever that, this, I'm not gonna be able to do this, and so they lower their expectations. But he talks about not he talks about keeping the same expectations and keeping the same goal no matter how attainable it seems or unattainable it seems. Whenever you're like goal setting and setting goals and limits for yourself. I had a quote for it, but I forgot where it was in my
He does.
doc.
Yeah, he has that mindset of like, set your goals 10 times to what you think they should be, and then
Yeah,
calculate what it needs to reach that goal, and then calculate 10 times those efforts.
yeah,
So in all reality, you're putting out like 100 times, if you do the math, like the effort for the realistic goal. So with that mentality, you're bound to like, it's kind of like the shoot for the fucking stars,
yeah.
and if you
Shoot
don't,
for
or
the
shoot for the
moon,
moon.
land on the stars. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole mindset of the book. But yeah, I agree though. It's got some applicable things, but it really does, like you said, we set our own limitations as a society that are too short. Yeah.
So we got philosophical next.
Yes, sir. You want to take that?
No, you want to go for it?
Yeah, I'll take it. So I thought that I thought that it was a super philosophical speaking book in regards to like it really made me think about success differently, especially how success is perpetrating. It doesn't stop, you know. It builds on success, and if you stop, you're not going to sustain your success. That was the kicker for me that really was like, yeah, this is like that fire that I have to keep putting wood towards, like you also mentioned. You know, it really does make you realize like this is, you know, we work and then we die, you know, and it's like how you work and what you do, that's important. But you know, passive income though, that's how that's a little trick.
What'd you rate that?
I rated, thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, I rated a 96, which is extremely high of a rating. And I think I'll defend that rating all night. Yeah, bring it at me, boys. Yeah, what about you, Riley? What'd you rate this?
I rated an 85 for philosophical.
All right, you want to fight? No, I'm kidding.
Let's go, bro.
Yeah.
Let's go on a bike ride. Let's race.
Did you know I'm
nice
gassed?
bike
That's
now.
not fair. All right. Yeah.
Touche. No, I rated an 85 for philosophical.
Okay.
Again, he talks about a lot of things like don't reduce your target, instead increase your actions. Another good one was, let's see, assume control and increase responsibility by adopting the position that you make all things happen, even those things you have previously considered to not be under your control. So he basically says to take full responsibility no matter what. If it's someone's fault, you could have done something better so that it wasn't. So that you could have done something better to prevent it or something like that.
Yeah, that principle of extreme ownership is like
he tries
missing.
to get you out of like a victim mentality and think more so like, okay, whether this was or wasn't in my control, there's still stuff I could have done better to prevent it, or stuff I could have done better to achieve whatever I was trying to achieve. He just kind of has like that no excuses, non like victim mindset that he wants the reader to kind of adopt.
Yeah, I love that shit. All right, Chewie, you're up.
I rated it out of 90. Yeah, I'm gonna go talk about based on what you said of just success building on each other. The biggest thing in life is momentum. Obviously, you guys know inertia with physics and everything. The faster an object goes, the harder it is to stop. And I believe that could be applied to momentum and success as well. Once you do something small and get that successful and do that successfully, it's a lot easier to move on than bigger things and have success with that, and just keep building blocks on top of that. So once you gain success, definitely want to keep moving along with it.
Yeah,
because that momentum will carry you a lot forward than stopping to celebrate. Well, obviously you want to celebrate the win, but you don't want to go into cruise control because that will just kill all momentum you have. That
he made a big point of that too. Like once you attain success, like you can't just stop. Like you have to work just as hard, if not harder, to achieve more success.
Yeah, you got
to or else it just vanishes, or else it goes away. It deteriorates.
Yep. Well,
unless it's passive income.
Unless it's passive income. Yeah. Okay. Well, for an overall 100-point scale, this isn't like an aggregate of all of our other ones. This is a face value of the book. And we all kind of rated it around the same. So we can all just talk about that. Chewie 88, myself an 88, and then Riley an 86. So that was an aggregate of an 87. So do you guys want to speak about maybe Chewie first? Why did we give it like this high B rating, but not necessarily like a stellar book?
Yeah, like you said before, he just doesn't give the steps as to. I mean, I think he could have dug into more of how like to think bigger and how to really, tap into the potential we all have inside of us. Um, but yeah, I mean, he made it easy to read and easy to follow along. So that I feel like balanced out with the lack of applicable steps in order to give it an 88. So
Yeah. Yeah, I also gave it an 88. I thought that it's a great book for somebody who wants to be inspired to achieve success. If they're feeling like maybe in a low spot, or there's so many self-development and self-help books out nowadays. Honestly, this is like a business self-help book. Like if you're an ambitious person and you know that you're not achieving what you want to achieve, dude, read this book. Like that's what I would recommend. That's why I gave it an 88. It's not for everybody. He mentions that multiple times in the book. It's also not for lazy people. If you're
Mhm.
lazy and you have a victim mindset, this book's not going to change your opinion. Straight up, it's going to probably piss you off because
Yeah.
you're gonna point out everything that he says that's wrong, which is a lot of shit. I gave him a 70 fucking on information because there was a lot of things I disagreed with. However, the things I agreed with are why I give this book an 88. I'm taking the good from it, and there's a lot of good in this book.
Yeah. Uh, Going off my score, 88 or 86, 86. Yeah. I think I just gave that score because it wasn't, kind of going back to what we were saying in the beginning. It's nothing like groundbreaking or new, really. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, some information can be found anywhere.
A
Not
lot of it's
anywhere.
intrinsic knowledge,
Yeah, it's yeah. And I I took the liberty upon myself to go ahead and read some Google
Yes.
reviews.
Here they
And
come.
it seems like it's either a 5-star or a 1-star. Um, there's really no in between. All the 5 stars don't seem the most. They're
It's
saying
I
stuff like
bet,
this book is
especially if
absolutely
you're a
amazing with no reason why or anything. The 10x rule is imperative. I'm applying the book right now. And then you have like your 1-star reviewers that like, I don't really like it because he doesn't talk about how or what to do. He talked about his experiences, and that's it.
Mm,
Um, so you really have two different conflicts of interest of people who read this book, and I think that's a testament to, it's not for everyone.
mhm.
I think those people. I don't want to. Never mind. I won't say it.
Yeah.
Never mind. Never
Teach
mind.
his own. Teach his own. Yeah. I'm not gonna get political. No.
Yeah.
But the Jews? No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I can say that because I'm Jewish. Yeah. L'chaim. So moving forward, we're gonna talk. The last thing we're gonna close with is a quick summary of our aggregate scores, and then a why you should read this book instead of a summary. So overall, we gave it for quality information a 75, ease of read a 96, applicable 87, philosophical 90, and overall an 87. So why you should read this book instead of a summary, I'll just go first. I think that without giving the whole spiel of you're missing the context of the book, so Grant actually applies, like Riley mentioned, his real life examples, and I feel like you can learn wisdom from a book without experiencing that good or bad event yourself, and you will not gain the full fucking experience that Grant gained, but you
Mhm.
can still take away for some aspects. For
Yeah.
example, if you've ever I just got into cycling. I've been doing a lot of research on cycling. There's a lot of mistakes that I could have made, but I prevented because I read a fucking book. You know what I mean? But if I were just to read a summary, maybe I'd get inspired, but I wouldn't understand the mistakes or the good things that Grant did that got him to the level to write this book and to
Yeah.
inspire. Does that make sense?
And it gives you a sense of like personability too. Like you read someone that has gone through it and has gone through the trial and tribulations of becoming successful, and you can see that stuff happening in your own life. It doesn't seem as bad when you see where he started and where kind of steps he took to get there. It doesn't seem as it's difficult, but it doesn't seem as bad because you see that, okay, he did it. This is what he did to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can kind of apply that to my life in some way, shape, or form. So that's kind of, I thought that would be a I mean, that's with most books. Like the previous one we read too, it had a lot of like kind of like little excerpts of, give you a principle and then an example of someone in history who applied it.
Yeah, and dude, those things stick with you
They do.
longer than some of like the
I
general
remember that more
concepts.
than I do the actual like principle. I'd
Yeah,
say,
especially dude, like that one when the guy for how to win friends and influence people, the plane guy, and he makes them
yeah,
refill. Dude, that
yeah,
one is just for some reason it just stuck, and it's
yeah,
forever gonna. I'm forever gonna remember that specific thing.
hundred
And
percent.
there's not gonna be a fucking book review on that shit.
Mm-mm.
But it's special to me. It's special to Riley. Special for our relationship. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it's great. Chewie, what about you? Why should they read this book instead of a summary? My Nana specifically.
Yeah, just in terms of summary, I feel like I just feel like with summaries you don't get the full like breakdown of like why it is he thinks the way he does,
Mm-hmm.
um, or just like the stories behind why it is it caused him to expand his mindset. I just feel like the with summaries you get the bits and pieces, but with reading the whole book you get like the full detail. You're able to learn from his experience and apply it to yourself, and not make as many mistakes as he did. So yeah, that's why I would recommend the book over a
I
summary.
like that take because there's a book that's literally called Start with Why, because it's so important to understand the purpose of why we do what we do, and without the why, you can't, like, the how just is the end product, or the what I should say, not the why. But yeah. So yeah, that about sums it up for this book review. Chewy, thank you so much. He's calling in from
Yes,
Chicago
thank you.
on a business trip because he's a big boy baller. But yeah, triple B, baby. Yeah, but thank you, Chewy, for your time. Appreciate it.
Yes,
Um,
thank you.
yeah, but we'll see you guys another episode of our book review and our podcast. So
All right.